Let's talk to Harold H. Peacock. And he's going to tell us about a disgraceful crime, violent, 159 years ago. And is it a cold case? G'day, Harold.
Yes, good morning, Danny. Yeah, you'll think of a feloniously violent act. I think that was the word.
Feloniously. I've never heard the word feloniously. Sounds like a bad wind problem. Now, can I ask you...
No, it's more about illegal violence, because there is legal violence, you know. Like, you could stop Damien eating your breakfast. That's not a feloniously violent act.
Yeah, good luck on that one, Harold.
He's already half eaten my arm right up to my elbow. Now, don't put sauce on anything. Get it on your hands. It's gone. Now, tell me, tell us about this. Is this a cold case?
Well, no, there was a conviction, but I thought for Christmas Eve that we take time to remember all the characters involved in this particularly violent attack that happened in Ipswich on Christmas Eve, exactly 159 years ago today.
Wow.
And I'll even finish with a warning to parents.
Yes.
But first, a warning now, because the following story contains violence some listeners may find disturbing, so listener discretion is advised.
Wow.
Now, on the day before Christmas, on the 24th of December, 1863, this was at Pine Mountain on the north side of Ipswich, Morris Williams was driving his bullocks.
Right.
Now, Edward Higgins, his mate, he was seemingly unhappy with the speed of the bullocks, and so he grabbed the whip off Williams, saying that he'd make him drive the bullocks faster. Higgins then tripped Williams over, thrust his knees into his chest, and bit his finger. Williams got away, but Higgins struck him on the back of the neck with a stick.
Wow.
Williams was able to release the bullocks, but as he did so, Higgins shouted that he was going to murder him.
Wow.
Higgins again ran up to Williams, stabbed him over the left eye, at the back of the head, and sliced him on the neck. Williams grappled the knife away from Higgins and then locked himself in a hut that was about 200 metres away. Now, in the Supreme Court trial at Ipswich that followed this unprovoked attack, Higgins was indicted for feloniously wounding with intent to do bodily harm.
Right.
Now, this was way back in 1863. This was only 4 years after Queensland separated New South Wales, so some parts were still, a bit like the Wild West.
Yeah.
But anyway, Constable Thomas Rawley from Ipswich, he was the arresting officer. Now, 3 months earlier, Constable Rawley had himself been locked up and charged with insubordination and drunkenness while on duty. But he got off because his commanding officer was actually wrong, and the constable wasn't actually on duty at the time. William Wills, he saw the whole bullocky attack and was the chief witness.
Right.
Just 6 weeks later, though, Wills himself was drowned when he was trying to cross the Brisbane River about 6 miles from Ipswich. And then there was Dr. Henry Challinor. He testified that if the cut over William's eye was a little deeper, it would have killed him.
Wow.
Now, of course, Dr. Challinor was a member of Queensland's first parliament and was a superintendent of what at the time was called the lunatic asylum. And as for the defendant, Edward Higgins, he was a free settler who in 1851 was licensed to cut timber beyond the settled districts on the Darling Downs. But gold was discovered in Victoria, so he went south. Down there, he was charged with horse stealing and assault and robbery.
Wow.
And while working as a bullock driver on the goldfields, he was living with a married woman. And that's when the husband turned up and slit her throat and tried to do the same to himself.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, he came back to Ipswich, where Higgins was found guilty of stabbing, cutting and wounding Morris Williams.
Wow.
But surprisingly, not with intent. But anyway, Higgins was imprisoned for 21 months with hard labour. Then, just 5 months after being released, Higgins was convicted of willfully destroying a tumbler, 3 panes of glass, and a chamber pot. I'm not sure if it was full. That was at the Golden Fleece Hotel in Leybourne, southwest of Toowoomba.
Oh, Leybourne.
Meanwhile, not Leybourne, the town just southwest of Toowoomba. It's a couple hundred people. It's small, but it was a big place back then.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the victim of the Christmas Eve horror in Ipswich, Morris Williams, it was 20 years later that he may have suffered a very lonely death when whoever registered his details didn't even know the names of his parents. Perhaps the most notable event of his life was when it appears he was christened with the name William Morris Williams. His real name was William Williams. Danny, what was his mother thinking?
Grace.
Yeah, that's right. So all parents out there with Christmas tomorrow, please be careful what you give your children, including their name, because 159 years from now, we might be remembering you on West Burma Radio as well.
Oh, well, one would hope that it's a massive company by then. Harold, you are, again, you build it. You builded it and builded it. Mate, I want to thank you for all that you do for us. Don't forget historyouthere.com. Now, we want to arc it up. We still need more. We had an archer, got on there last week. And
Craig from Muddy Creek.
That's right.
Thank you very much for Craig.
Good on you, Craig. We want the burlesque archers. You know, arc, and they're burlesque. Come on, ladies. Come on, gents. Well, we don't want any gents.
Well, Danny, it doesn't just need ladies, because we've got Sam and his whole family down there at Dingle listening right now. It could be Sam burlesquing it up with arc. Come on, Sam, send it in.
So, historyouthere.com. This story will be up, tomorrow?
First thing in the morning, historyouthere.com.
Harold the H, arc, peacock. Oh, sorry, I've taken Harold the H, arc, peacock. Merry Christmas and a very happy New Year to you and your family, mate.